Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that gets a lot of people excited, real estate. But we're not talking about the usual stuff. Late night calls about leaky faucets, chasing down rent payments, or the headaches of being a traditional landlord. No, today we're exploring how you can generate consistent monthly cash flow from real estate, creating true passive income. I am going to share 4 powerful strategies that let you invest in property without the landlord stress. So, if you've ever dreamed of earning money from real estate while you sleep, you're in the right place. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about REITs. That's R-E-I-T, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. Think of a REIT as a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing real estate. We're talking about everything from massive apartment complexes and shopping malls to office buildings and data centers. The best part? You can invest in them just like you'd buy a stock. When you buy a share of a REIT, you're essentially buying a tiny piece of a huge, diversified portfolio of properties. This is fantastic for a few reasons. First, the barrier to entry is incredibly low. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars for a down payment. You can get started with just a few bucks. Second, it's instant diversification. Instead of all your money being tied up in one single property, you're spread across dozens or even hundreds of properties in different locations and sectors. This drastically reduces your risk. But here's the real magic of REITs for passive income. By law, they are required to pay out at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders in the form of dividends. This means you get a regular, predictable check, which is the very definition of passive cash flow. These dividends often provide a higher yield than many traditional stocks. Plus, your investment is liquid. Unlike a physical property that can take months to sell, you can sell your REIT shares on the stock market any business day. So, for anyone looking for a hands-off, low-cost way to get into real estate, REITs are an absolutely brilliant place to start. Okay, strategy number 2 is something that's gained massive popularity over the last decade: real estate crowdfunding. This is a game changer. Historically, getting into large-scale private real estate deals, like developing a new apartment building or buying a commercial property, was reserved for accredited, high-net-worth investors. You needed connections and a lot of capital. Crowdfunding platforms have completely democratized this process. Here's how it works. A real estate developer or an experienced investment firm needs funding for a project. They partner with a crowdfunding platform online. The platform then presents the deal to a large pool of investors. That's us. We can review the project details, the business plan, the projected returns, and the team's track record. If we like what we see, we can invest directly into that specific project, often with a minimum investment of just a few $1,000s, sometimes even less. You become a fractional owner of a real, tangible asset. The income comes from the property's performance, whether it's through monthly rental income distributed to investors or from the profits when the property is eventually sold. What I love about crowdfunding is the transparency and the choice it offers. You can handpick the projects you want to be a part of. Do you believe in the growth of multifamily housing in Austin, Texas? You can find a deal for that. Want to invest in a medical office building in Florida? There are platforms for that too. It gives you a level of control and direct access that's impossible with REITs, but still without any of the landlord responsibilities. You're a silent financial partner, and that's a powerful position to be in. Moving on to our third strategy, and this one is for those who might be a bit more conservative or prefer debt over equity: investing in real estate notes. This is essentially becoming the bank. Instead of buying the property itself, you are buying the mortgage or the loan that is secured by the property. Let me break it down. When someone gets a mortgage to buy a house, they have a note, a legal document promising to repay the loan with interest. Sometimes the original lender, like a bank, will want to sell that note to free up capital. This is where you can come in. You can buy that note, often at a discount to what is still owed. Once you own the note, the borrower starts making their monthly mortgage payments directly to you instead of the bank. This creates a very steady and predictable stream of income. You know exactly how much you'll receive each month and for how long. There are two main types of notes. Performing notes, where the borrower is current on their payments, which is a very stable cash flow-focused investment. And then there are non-performing notes, where the borrower has stopped paying. These are riskier but can be bought at a much steeper discount, offering multiple strategies for profit, like modifying the loan to help the homeowner start paying again, or as a last resort, foreclosing on the property. Investing in notes requires more due diligence than the first two strategies. You need to understand the value of the underlying property and the legalities involved. But for those willing to learn, it offers a fantastic way to generate passive income backed by a hard asset, without ever having to deal with tenants or toilets. You're simply the line holder collecting your monthly check. And finally, our fourth strategy, which is a bit of a hybrid and perfect for today's travel-centric world, rental arbitrage. This one is really clever and doesn't require you to own any property at all. Here's the concept. You sign a long-term lease on an apartment or a house, say for 12 or 24 months, at a standard market rent. With the landlord's explicit permission, you then furnish the property nicely and list it on short-term rental sites like Airbnb or VRBO. The goal is to charge a nightly rate that, over the course of the month, brings in significantly more revenue than your fixed monthly rent payment. For example, you might lease an apartment for $2,000 a month. But by renting it out on a short-term basis for, let's say, $150 a night, you only need to have it booked for about 14 nights to cover your rent and utilities. Every night it's booked beyond that is pure profit for you. Now, this isn't completely passive in the beginning. There's upfront work. You need to find the right property in a good location, get the landlord's approval, furnish it, and create a compelling listing. You'll also need to manage bookings, cleaning, and guest communication. However, you can automate a lot of this. You can hire a professional cleaning service, use smart locks for keyless entry, and even hire a co-host or a virtual assistant to handle guest messaging. Once these systems are in place, it becomes a highly passive income stream. You're leveraging someone else's asset to build your own cash-flowing business, and the potential profit margins can be truly impressive, all without the massive capital outlay of buying a property. So there you have it. 4 powerful ways to earn passive income from real estate without the stress of being a landlord. We've got REITs for easy, liquid, and diversified investing. We have real estate crowdfunding for direct access to exciting private deals. There's note investing for becoming the bank and collecting steady mortgage payments. And finally, rental arbitrage, a clever way to profit from the short-term rental market without owning property. Each of these strategies has its own level of risk, reward, and involvement, so it's crucial to do your own research and see what fits your financial goals and your risk tolerance. The key takeaway is that you don't have to be a traditional landlord to build wealth through real estate. The modern financial world has opened up incredible opportunities for all of us. I hope this has opened your eyes to some new possibilities. Which of these strategies sounded most interesting to you? Let me know down in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.